wants to make this a brawl. Culey jumping on him. After losing the first 4 rounds, Culey came back and really had a strong 5th round, and this one's up for grabs. Culey showing his power, or maybe it's the fatigue factor of Westerman. You just saw him go back on his heels with just what appeared to be a light, well, it was a stiff jab, but it put it back in his heels.
You got to wonder how much energy he wasted in the first 2 rounds when he was all over Culey, and whether that is in fact now playing a part in this contest in the 6th round.
Oh, Matt, I think you're exactly right. I think it's playing a major role right now, because they were fighting like they were fighting a 4-round fight for the first 4 rounds of this thing, and it was just ears back and let it fly for Westerman in the early going, and Culey was able to weather it in spite of the fact he was dropped in the first round. There's a nice left hook that has Westerman back on his heels again. Culey is fighting much better right now and might be getting the edge. And every time you think that he might be getting an edge, Westerman comes back. He's a tough kid. There's his left hand, but he doesn't seem to have that big power shot right now that he had earlier in the fight. He lost a few lights, so if you notice anything strange in your television set, it's not your television set, it's the arena here. We lost some TV lights up above here.
Break.
And the bell ends the 6th round. Culey might have won that round, I don't know.
I'd have to give it to him. What an interesting fight this is turning out to be. We had Dale Westerman dominating the first 4 rounds, in particular the first 2 with that knockdown in the first round. But in the last couple of rounds, Brett Culey has come right back into the contest with some very good fighting and some great spirited efforts here from him. There we can see there Westerman, they're trying to fight off the ropes. Obviously the superior boxer, but as far as power, whenever Brett Culey's able to land a punch, you just have the feeling that he's able to turn the fight around with one punch, whereas Westerman has to work his way back into the contest. Flurry there, Westerman, but not a great deal on the punches and not a great deal landing either. We've set ourselves for the 7th round, so we're into the 2nd half of this OPBF Light Heavyweight Championship fight.
Yes, we are, and as we get ready to go to the 7th round, Sam Rivera from Sim Steel and Gary Bergman from Van Gogh Vodka, a couple of the sponsors here, and Stuart Smith from Oricon giving Steel the big edge, and those are all sponsors of Tony Caradonna and Jeff Fennick, who have done so much for boxing here in Australia, and glad that you're all participating. Okay, in the 7th round, Westerman trying to do the best he can. He's right back with a good shot, and he caught it good, but it looks like Brett has been able to hold this long with movement. How about this movement? Look at the spray fly off the head every time the shots land off the hands of Westerman. So if Westerman was cruising through the 6th, he's not cruising in the early going in the 7th. And Culey comes forward to him. Shoulders a bit squared up. You can't have power when you get those shoulders squared up and his heels up beside each other. That's not the way you want to be seen. Reaching with the right hand, no power with that. He wants to get himself back and turn that left shoulder in, but he's really squared up right now. Mike Tyson used to do that in his prime, but he would dip down and then throw these hellacious shots from his heel. But that isn't what Culey's idea was. Sometimes you make little mistakes like that with the fingers. The right hand, because his shoulders are squared up, and he doesn't have the power to hold Westerman off when his shoulders are squared up like
Break.
that.
Go punch.
So
Break.
immediately
Back.
when you spot little mistakes, you see a fighter get victimized by it often. This 7th round a whole lot more even than the last couple of rounds where Culey really came on. And again, Westerman was just cruising, and as you heard Matt Brooks say that, man, you know, maybe he just let too much go too early. And that's a thing when we do the Jermaine Taylor fight next week with Bernard Hopkins. You wonder how much Hopkins is going to let go early, whether he can sustain himself the full 12 rounds. These guys fought the first, as I said, on a couple of occasions, Matt, they fought the first 4 rounds of this fight like it was a 4-rounder or a 6th round. Looping right hand gets through by Westerman. He's having a better boxing round here in the 7th than he had in the 5th and 6th. Culey doing some catching now, not as offensive minded, and his offense doesn't have the power because of the mistakes that are pointed out. His squared shoulders and his heels more closely aligned as side by side instead of having some separation between them where you can drive off the back foot and turn the left shoulder in and really fire the right hand and snap the left hand off by pushing off the back. The time he comes with a wide hook that spins the head, but most of the punches is just gobbled up by Westerman. Westerman back to the ropes now. Here comes the uppercuts now. Both guys showing a little bit of arm fatigue right now. Punches aren't quite as accurate and don't have quite as much zip, and that's fatigue because we're in the closing seconds of a busy 7th round. But I think Westerman has come back to win this 7th round. Culey has tried to be aggressive, but I think it's been a good round for Dale Westerman. Closing seconds down to 7.
Break!
Dale Westerman using his superior boxing skills there in the 7th to gain back the advantage I'd given the previous 2 rounds to Brett Culey. And just looking into the corner they were looking into the corner of Westerman. He looks to be okay. He seems pretty cool, calm and collected. He believes, I guess, at this stage that his boxing skills will see him as victory. But as we look back here at some of the action from the previous round, you can see him trying to be aggressive. Not a great bit of lands there, but no doubt catching the eye of the inside judges. Just on Brett Culey, there's a bad cut in the inside of his mouth. There's claret flowing from his mouth throughout the round. Alexander sent you out. He keeps yelling at him that Westerman cannot hurt him, which is pushing Culey on in this fight. And here we go for the 8th.
We know better than that, though, don't we, Matt? We saw him hurt it back in the first couple of rounds. But that, again, there's a fatigue factor here now. Who wants it the most? I think both of these guys are tremendous athletes. They both are in tremendous physical condition. Both Matt and I questioned Dale's strategy cause him any problems to the 5th and 6th round. We both feel like, he was caught. And here, again, is Culey trying to come on and try to land a shot that can turn this fight back around in his favor. And as you heard Matt say, the first fight was very similar to this, in that Westerman was cruising along, and then it was the 6th round in the first fight that Culey actually nailed him back in December of '03, and he won in a TKO to win that fight. But Westerman weathered the storm in the 7th round when Culey put up his best round, and then I thought that Culey did enough to win the 6th, and I thought Westerman came back in the 7th. So Westerman's still out for the fight, but his Culey coming on again. This is 8th round action. Don't forget, this is an OPBF Light Heavyweight Championship fight, so it's a 12-round affair. The long way to go. Culey sort of forcing the fight. The black trunks with his back to you. A minute and 10 seconds gone here in the 8th round of this fight. Westerman bounces right, back to his left, getting the angles. Culey plods forward. Shoulders not quite as squared up as they were in the last round, so he should have more power with his right hand and more power with his jab. Goes with the right hand lead. When he's squared up, his right hand lead has no power at all. When I say squared up, folks, I'm talking about his shoulders being more side by side instead of having the left shoulder turned in. And when he does that, naturally his feet line up the same way, so his heels are like side by side. They're not quite side by side, but it's more of being squared than what you want to be as a fighter. So you need that right foot behind you to drive off and to get power in your jab, and to be able to roll that right hip in order to get power with your right hand. You see Culey forcing the fight, and Westerman is a good fighter and good boxer, able to hold him off for the most part here in the 8th round. But with a minute to go, about 54 seconds to go in this round is still up for grabs. Guys just sort of pot-shotting each other right now here in the 8th round. Who wants it the most? And right now it appears that Culey's on the assault, and as I say that, vicious left hook to the body thrown by Westerman, but he needs to do more to steal this round on the judges' scorecard. This has been the closest round of the fight. I thought the rounds that we gave one way or the other were pretty definitive throughout the course of this, but this is a tough round to score. There's only 25 seconds to go. If somebody can finish with a big flurry, they can still win this round. And again, pot-shotting is Westerman with the left hook to the body of Culey, and Culey comes back.